Well, Peter, what time it is?
It's train time.
Episode 43,
43.
July 2023, Season 4.
That's right.
What do we do this month?
Well, we have a special guest sitting with us.
Yes, and we'll introduce our special
Yes.
guest in a few moments.
So we're going to visit the Alberta Railway Museum.
Yes, and I hope at that point that some people will go and visit it in person
Yes.
too,
Yes.
in Edmonton, Alberta.
Yep.
Also, we got the photo of the month,
Photo of the month.
the view from above.
View from above. Yes.
And then we'll blow our own horns with the CMR.
CMR at the end.
Upstairs. And
Absolutely.
that's great, you
Yes.
know. So let's introduce our guest.
Yes. This is our special guest is my brother Ivan Hall from St. Albert, Alberta, and he is with the Alberta Railway Museum, which we visited on our way home from Hawaii. So I took a bunch of pictures, and we're very fortunate to have him here
Right on the set with us.
to do the actual commentary instead of me doing the commentary. So
Well, that's a bonus, isn't it?
absolutely. So,
Well, welcome, Ivan.
Well, great to be
Pleasure
here.
to have you on the set with It's Train Time. You know, we have a little video that I believe you will be commenting on. But before that, what can you tell us about that museum?
Well, it's a wonderful piece of railway history in the Edmonton area on 34th Street. We have approximately 75 pieces of railway equipment there, including an operating steam engine, 3 operating diesel units. We have a display of one of the only NAR steam locomotive still in existence. We saved it from the scrap line. It's a marvelous day trip location for people in the Edmonton area. We have picnic events there. We have birthday parties, wedding receptions. We have photo clubs, shutterbugs and that come in and do videos and art displays on site. So we're open from the May long weekend to Labor Day, and we'd love to have visitors.
Do you
all
do
the
an
time.
excursion with your train?
We have about a little over a mile of track on an old branch line that used to feed the CFB Edmonton military base. And so we run a train back and forth on that on the hour, every hour on long weekends. On the intervening weekends in the summer, we run speeders, so you get a little shorter version, but running on the same track. So it's a back and forth effort. We'd love to go farther, but we're restricted by land use. So
Yeah. Do the people have to pay to get onto the site?
no, there's an admission charge and a small fee to ride the train, but it's under $20. It's a great place for families to come do a day trip. They can picnic on site. We have food facilities, washrooms. We have umbrellas on the picnic tables and that. So if the weather is a little iffy, we all have shelters, and there's lots to see. So
Well, that sounds great to me,
Yeah.
because people during holidays, they don't work on their model railroad. What they do, they go visit museum, they go visit artifacts and all sort of thing, and they do rail fanning and so on. Last month we were talking about rail fanning, and that was the show. This year's in July, well, we're talking about museum.
yes, and we're talking about a slideshow that still has snow on the ground. So.
That's right.
Because
So,
when the pictures were taken, it was in March, so there's still snow on the ground. But
well, it doesn't matter. You gave a good idea what's
Absolutely.
going on in there.
Yep.
Now let's go into that video. It's all yours, Ivan.
this is the big entrance sign on 34th Street. It welcomes you into our site. We have it's easy to find because we have a nice Canadian flag and an Alberta flag flying from the mast. This is an overview of the site, and one of the first cars that you see on the entrance are these string of cars here that we're going through. Some very nice static displays of typical railway maintenance as well as mainline trains. Slab-sided hopper car there. This is our ballast regulator. This is an excellent view of our steam engine 1392, which is in class 4 recertification right now. One of our older cars, Great Waterways Combine, it's about an 1895 vintage railway car. We've been working on restoration on that for years, but the beautiful woodwork inside is a blessing. The current business car, Dunvegan, is an NAR business car that we're refurbishing. This is views of the interior as it stands now. We're hoping to get it back to 1947 status. There's pieces of the interior like this that are still the original, and then there's other parts of the car that are been converted to work service. We had to resurface the entire outside of the car, and that was the sheet metal drawings that we put together and the panels that we've installed. The interior, there's an exterior, not only the siding but the roof. It's a rubberized roof that we put on there, and it's been on there for about 30 years, and we had to reseal a few places. There's a little bit more of the interior. All of the exterior windows have been refurbished, and we're currently working on getting the interior into display status. This is our carpentry shop where a lot of the woodwork repairs and repainting and refinishing take place. Mike Nurse is our master painter in that, so he keeps himself busy. This is an example of some of the, this is a bunk car that we had to strip the siding off of. We're currently restoring that, so you get to see how the car was originally built, and then the preserved lumber that we mill and place on the car. This idler car is the idler car for our steam crane on site, and you can see the finished product here with the new wood paneling on it. Hans Hazenga, one of our members in one of our baggage cars, is putting a whole NAR display together. So panels, interpretation of the Northern Alberta Railway history, as well as just general track maintenance, railroad activities, and of course all the route maps and that of the Northern Alberta Railway. This Comboose, the NAR used combination baggage passenger cars, and they put little side vestibule windows in it, and they became branch line caboose passenger cars. Peely Island is a sleeper car from CNR that we use for archive storage right now. So you can see in some of the views there of our collection of artifacts that we have. And each car we put a history of the actual car itself, so you get an appreciation. Here's some vintage railway promotional posters. That was our engine shop. This is the entrance to our speeder shop, where you can see some of the equipment we have, and of course we have 3 Mousers on site. The NAR caboose, we just received its sister from Westlock recently. And one of our volunteers, we would encourage as many people are interested to volunteer at our site. The old St. Albert station, the original Canadian Northern St. Albert station. This is some of the interior of our shops. We also have a collection of speeders on site, and We're still not sure what we're going to do with this wheel lathe, but we received it from a manufacturer. One of our members that's passed away donated his 1-inch scale steam locomotive for display on our site. So that gives you kind of a quick overview of some of the features we have for the public to see.
It looked to me that is a lot of work that's getting done in there.
There's a lot of work. We have a dedicated core of volunteers, but like so many things, we've got more work than we know what to do with, and so we have to concentrate all the time on making sure that we get projects finished before we move on to the other. Otherwise, we'll just get lost in the malaise.
Now, the volunteers that you got in there, do they have to have experience?
Not really. We have carpenters, we have painters, we have diesel mechanics, we have ex-railway people, we have bookkeepers, we have office workers, we have college students, we have all walks of life showing up. Really, all we need is people that are willing to preserve the history, have an interest in the history, and we will sort out what work they can get involved in. Absolutely, yes.
Well, in any kind of a restoration like that, it requires a lot of labor, it requires a lot of people, and yes, I agree with you. You have to have the interest of preserve our history.
Yes.
You know,
Whether it's railroad history or just history in general.
One of the things that we do at the museum, in line with the current socioeconomic situations, is we are doing stuff to interpret the different immigrant populations that have come to the prairies. We're recognizing the First Nations. We have an NAR diesel locomotive, Chief Mustus, who is named after one of the chiefs from Treaty 6 and that. So we do an awful lot of stuff to try to involve the socioeconomics of the community in interpretation through the Railway Museum. Yes.
I think it's a good idea because it's the first time, really, Peter, that I hear that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
all the museum usually they just do their stuff.
They're
But
concentrating on
that
their
is
own.
a very good concept as far as integrating the community that is all around them, you know, and make them participate.
Different cultures and stuff.
Because definitely they learn something out of that.
We have a Muslim cemetery that's about a quarter of a mile away from us, and so we've had a lot of Muslim immigrants and that come, and we've actually had people from India and from the Middle East that worked on railways, and they come and say, oh, we can connect exactly with, we understand what you're doing and everything. And so from our side of it, we get to explain how North Americans did it, and they explain how they did it, and we get into this whole conversation.
That's a very beautiful concept,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Now, folks, we thank you, Ivan, for all that,
Yes.
because it's very instructive to us and certainly to our viewer.
Very fortunate to have you visiting.
Yeah.
Well, it's a pleasure being here. It really is.
You know, now, folks, we'll go to our photo of the month and the view from above.
Enjoy.
Well, Peter, as usual,
Yes, very good segments.
yes, we love those segments,
Yes.
you know. People love them too.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
that's what's count, you know. I got to thank all the people and the viewers that came for the last month's show. Really, I didn't think that it had that many people that enjoy rail fanning.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it was a collections of videos and photo that came on into our groups, you know, the Canadian Model Railroad Facebook groups. And, you know, if you got pictures in there at one time or another, they end up on our show.
Yes,
So,
yes.
but now we're talking about what's happening in the CMR.
CMR. Time for our layout.
Yeah, what's happening up there?
Well, I've spent quite a bit of time stuck between the Selkirk Mountains and the Rockies. we're constructing the Selkirks and Rocky connection with a little drop-in piece for a village, and so that's in the stage of framing and putting on plaster cloth.
Yeah, you kind of got plaster and it had nothing to do with boozing.
I get to come out here and get plastered. Yeah. and Joe, you've been working on the mill.
Yes, I'm working in the steel mill. I'm on the stage 3 right now, which is the blast furnace. There's a lot more to come in there.
Yeah.
It's still under the concept, you know, because we changed our mind in regard to how to do it.
Yep.
So now it would be a lot of different track placement that will have to be looked at and so on, but nothing can be done till those buildings are done, because we're not doing the building according to the track.
No.
We're doing the track according to the building.
The way the buildings are laid out.
Yes.
And you've had to be very creative and make your own parts. For,
Yeah.
um,
You know, it's nothing nicer than when you phone a company like Walters because of the blast furnace kit, and you tell them the number and so on, and they said, well, we're sorry, we have no part in being discontinued since 2009.
yeah.
Now, that kit, I probably bought that in 2005, 2006. So it tell you how long some of those kits that are in our shop, in
Yep.
our workbench, have been,
Yep.
you know. I haven't bought any kits in the last 4 or 5 years, I think, because they're all there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I saw the pieces that you had missing and the work that you have done to
Reconstruct it.
reconstruct them. Beautiful.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know that they were even missing.
No, and that was pretty much so the idea. And that piece in question you're talking about, Ivan, it was from the scrapbooks.
Remarkable.
And the
Remarkable.
roll ends of the plaster that we used to do those mountains, you know. So it's some stuff, you know, that you don't have to go to a hobby shop, you know. You got it right beside you, and use it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I love the concept of mountains. They actually have the snow on the top,
Yes. Yeah.
just to set the mood.
Yeah.
But you know, Ivan, they're not even scenic yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when the forestry get into it and the sceneries and so on, it would be a dive for to view, you know.
I've seen some of the rest of the layout
scenes,
and
yeah.
scenes, and yes, they will be awesome.
Well, the last time you visit was probably about 4 years ago,
Yeah.
somewhere
Something like
around
that,
there,
yeah.
where you had a lot of bare wood,
Yes.
you know. And now you're coming in and you have seen the work that really has taken place in the last years, scenery-wise. You know.
Phenomenal.
And since we started on the mountains, that's moved along fairly quickly.
Yes.
You know, considering the amount of mountains that are there. But
Matter of fact, I can presently preview that within a 2 years period, the general scenes will all have been in place across the layout. And after that would be adding details over details over details, you know, like we usually do, like we did with Quebec and the other place. Peter loves details.
Both of you love
Yeah,
details.
well, maybe we're a little anal on that.
yeah.
cannot believe some of the details and the intricacies that you guys have incorporated into this stuff. It's remarkable.
But we have fun at it.
That's the important part.
We feed off of each other on that aspect.
Good, good.
You see, we try very hard, Ivan, to make the viewer understand that we're just regular folks, regular modelers having fun. And the more details that you do, the more scenery that you do, it gets you so involved within those scenes, you know. And when they are done, the satisfaction you got out of the work that had been done is superb.
Yeah.
I can imagine. I can imagine, because some of the detail, and every time you turn around and you look at it from a different angle, and there's a whole new story that
Yep.
you find.
Yes.
It's incredible.
That's what we've tried to incorporate into it, because we're always thinking from the photographic side that when we want to do some shots up there, the different angles that we can shoot from and different things that we can show.
And nothing looked the same.
No.
You know, if you notice, most of it is weathered according to the scene.
Yes.
You see, a lot of modelers, they will weather their models or whatever on the bench. And then you put it on the scene and it seems that something just don't fit.
Yes.
While you do a partial weathering on the bench, and the final weathering is done as you do the scene.
On site, yeah.
So then everything just meld together.
Yes. And you can see that on some of the completed sections that you have.
Exactly.
Everything just flows. It
Exactly.
looks, the whole scene looks natural.
And it got to go, well, having the story of the layout going from the East Coast to the West Coast, each province that are represented, when you build them, you have to be able to have them flow from one to another without having straight separations. And that became sometimes a little tricky.
I can imagine.
But then suddenly when you got the final product, well, it's never finished, but when you got what you can call final product, and you see that it's fluid from one scene to another, or one province to another, and that's kind of recomforting,
Exactly.
you know. A lot of work still have to be done.
And I breathe a sigh of relief, because I look at what's been accomplished already, and I can imagine the amount of hours that you guys have spent to accomplish that.
Well,
So,
to resume that, Ivan, Peter and I and the two other in the group, Mary and Tony, we have been together for 9 years. We're doing our 9th years. And I have been working on that layout since 2010, because that's when I had finished the building here. Right?
wow.
Now, one guy on a layout of 24 feet by 34 feet, plus all the peninsula that are there, it's kind of overwhelming. So, technically, what we suggest to the people, don't go with a huge layout to start with. You know, make baby step,
Yeah.
Yes.
right? And then you can get into the big layout. Me, I started modeling after I retired in year 2000. Prior to that, I had no time for it.
Yes.
You know,
yeah, can imagine.
you cannot work 16 hours during the day and try to have a hobby on top of it, because that ain't working.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, after that, I never did really what we call the armchair modeling. Everything, the concept was there. When Peter and the two other guys get involved, we made that layout, not my layout, but our layout. And we share the work, and we share the critiques, and we share everything in there. So everybody has a sense of property and to the layout. And first thing you know, you got a ton of things accomplished.
Yeah.
I find it absolutely incredible, the dialogue that you two have together, and I assume that you have with your other partners, and
Yeah.
that, and sharing ideas, and one has a concept and the other one tweaks it a little bit and the other one tweaks it a little bit, and it all flows, it all comes
A
together.
good example of that, to go to the lumber section, right, which is technically a third level. It was a very long grade, and Mary says, well, right there, you got a lot of room behind that backdrop that you can put a helix in there. So we studied that for a little while, and now we got a helix in there, and so on. I had never thought about that helix. He did, right? And now you don't see that helix because the mountain, the Rocky Mountains, cover it.
Right.
Right? A lot of little things like that happen. In the train yards in Winnipeg, for instance, nothing in the track on the first round was working properly because I had too many switches that were one to another. So everything got realigned, and now it worked properly and it flows, right? So that's really what's been happening with all the layout. Peter is having probably one of the hardest job right now, is to squeeze on that little hole.
Inside the helix with a little head hole to lay plaster cloth on the Selkerts and the Rockies.
I will have to take a pictures when you just got your head out, you know. You can look at it like, you know, the game that they got at the fairs where the heads come up.
That's
you know?
right, yeah.
That's a little bit what it looked like. So, really, Peter, what can you add to that?
God, I don't know. It's been a great journey so far, and like Ivan commented, we definitely feed off of each other. We both maybe are a little anal about stuff, but it's nice to see where things come together, and you can look back and say, you know, man, this is what we've accomplished.
Yeah.
And the other thing I was just thinking about, you talk about making changes and tweaks. The normal modelers out there should keep in mind that when they are doing their own layouts, don't be afraid that if you run into a problem area that's not working to change it.
Oh yeah, change it one, twice, 2, 3 times, whatever it takes, you know.
Yeah.
Till at that point, you like and you love what
You get the
what's happening.
proper flow and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, yes, we feed a lot each other's and ideas and so on, and we criticize each other on the work that we're doing,
Yep.
which is good because we never take those criticism in the wrong way. Like I said, it's 9 years that the group of 4 is together,
Yep.
and we never had an argument.
I discussion probably for sure.
Oh, we discuss it, yeah.
And the thing that I really noticed is some of the techniques that you're using. The mountains, as an example. I grew up with paper mache and
Paper
that.
mache, screen forms.
You've come up with a concept for the foundation and that with the foil.
Yep.
I think that is just
Yep.
inspirational
Yep.
because it's a lot easier. I mean, I've tried styrofoam carving and that, and it's messy and it's all over the place. That works. The finished result, beautiful. I mean,
Well, what you're seeing right now, and you like it,
yes,
imagine what you will be seeing the next time you're around,
When it's scenic.
yes,
right? When
yes,
it's scenic.
yes.
Then it take a totally different proportions, you know. Sure, we had some visitor did come in. Well, I got to qualify in there when I talk about visitor come in into the CMR layout is people that we know. We do not have general public come into this layout. That's why we got videos. But anyway, they come in and they say, wow. Yeah, it's maybe wow now because of the sheer size of it. But when you have it scenic, that's when you really see how all the elements will fit together.
Yeah,
It's a question of vision.
I guess.
Yeah.
I just marvel at how you've been able to take some of the rough scenes that I've seen you working on the last time I was
Yep.
here, and to the finished product or close to finished product. Marvelous.
Like you said
Marvelous.
earlier, there's a lot of logistic was involved.
Yeah.
But you see, when you were talking about the communication between the member of our group,
Mhm.
or interest into the hobby itself, and especially with Peter's interest into photography, brought us at that point to do some cinematography. And that's where the idea of It's Train Time, the show, came in. And now we are in our 4th years, publishing a video every month, and we got some other video how-tos that we put here and there.
Oh, great.
But it became a hobby within the hobby, but the idea of the video, Ivan, was only to share the little we know with other people.
That's nice.
And if we get some comments from some people in regards, why didn't you do this or why did you do that? We're not offended.
No.
It's constructive to us,
Mhm.
you know, so, and we encourage people that are watching our video,
Send in comments.
write the comments, you know. You can write comments even below some photo that are on the Facebook group, you know, and so on. We read them all. You can go to our website. The website is based uniquely on the CMR layout, and you can get to that by going to www.canadianmodelrailroad.ca. The page is constantly updated with new stuff and so on as we go along. And all of that, the Facebook, the internet site, the web page, and the YouTube videos are legacy. You know, later on when we won't be there, all that will be still there.
Yes.
And people can enjoy it at that time. And certainly at one point or another, the methods on model railroading will have changed, and that's what we're doing will be old methods.
Yeah.
But people like to and look
Yeah.
at old methods, you know. So anyway, folks,
Thanks again to Ivan for
Oh, yes.
for being here on his
You know,
vacation.
My
and
pleasure. My pleasure.
it's a pleasure to have you on the set, and I hope very good things for you and the Alberta Railway Museum.
Yes, well, thank you for that.
When I go to Alberta, I hope I will get there one day. I certainly would like to go there.
and anybody out there that's in the Edmonton area, look it up.
Oh, by all means.
Oh, yeah. And if I ever end up in Edmonton, I got to ride his locomotives,
Yeah.
Yes.
the 911.
Yeah.
So, folks, that's it for today, for this month. I hope you enjoy our show this month. Next month,
Send in your comments.
yep, and subscribe. Make sure you push the bell so you can be notified. And next month, well, we'll have some more surprise.
We'll see you in a month.
See you then for episode 44.
Take care. Have fun.